Well, after such a long wait, it's finally back. I'm finally about to bring to you the return of the wide world of game shows. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about a game that might tempt you to get something for a good price than what it's worth for. Sale of the Century. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews presents Wide World of Game Shows. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to the wide world of game shows, a fun-filled series from Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. This is Doyle, better known to as the Big D. And, well, it's time I gave to you another game. This time, I'm about to talk about a game that kind of makes you feel like you're seeing a little game of temptation in ways. Well, this game is kind of in a way like that. Anyway, I'm just here to tell you that this is just a show that I've really enjoyed as a youngster and what have you. Well, you're about to see a game that might even have you, oh, I don't know, try and get some for a pretty good price, just for a little cheaper than what you could get for the big amount, or something like that. So now, without further ado, I bring to you Sale of the Century. Sale of the Century was a game show where you answer questions and you may get a chance to use some of your money to get a big prize for a little cheaper the price of its actual thing. Kind of like a temptation type game. The game originally premiered on NBC in 1969 and was produced by Al Howard Productions. That would be the company that would later get a supermarket sweep, but I'll mostly be focusing on the 1983 version of this, which came on NBC 40 years ago this day, January 3rd, 1983, and produced by Reg Grundy Productions. Okay, now Sale of the Century was known for its logo with that you saw with a dollar sign in the S. Now, the show originally started in September '69, along with two other NBC game shows, as they dropped the short-lived Letters to Laugh In and Name Droppers. And then it was dropped in 1973 and began airing a weekly syndicated series and ran for only one season. So, the original series had 5 seasons produced and aired overall. And it had 3 contestants and what have you. And they began at $25, and midway through the game, the question values doubled at $10. At first, the first final round consisted of 30 seconds of $15 questions, and then was replaced with $20 questions, and what have you. If a contestant's total was reduced to 0 or lower, that contestant was eliminated from further play. They would do some other things. At certain points, all contestants were offered the opportunity to purchase merchandise at a bargain price. The first contestant to buzz in after the prize was revealed purchased that price, and the price was deducted from his or her score. They also had some other things on here, but that's all I'm going to tell you about the original series. Because again, I'm going to be focusing on the 1983 version that I'm mostly familiar with, which NBC premiered on this day 40 years ago. Anyway, now let me see. Now, and the original series was hosted by Jack Kelly and was later replaced by Joe Garagiola. Let's see. And Bill Wendell served as the announcer for the whole series run and was then on the staff at NBC. Madeline Sanders, an African American model, served as hostess for most of the run, along with several other female models. Now, the 1980s version that I'm familiar with is hosted by Jim Perry, who had recently hosted Card Sharks for the network, which got canceled a year and a half before this. Who was initially joined by Sally Julian as co-host. Then 2 months later, Lee Manning replaced her until December of 1984, when Summer Bartholomew joined the program and remained as co-host until the finale in 1989. Jay Stewart, who was best known for being the announcer for Let's Make a Deal, as well as The Joker's Wild, Tic Tac Toe, Bullseye, and some of them Barry and Amright produced games, was the announcer until his retirement in January of '88, and then Don Morrow took over. Now, later on, after its original run, the rights to the show were purchased by Australian TV mogul Reg Grundy, who produced a similar show called Great Temptation in the 1970s, and he subsequently launched an Australian version of Sail the Century. So his modified format was then used in the revived American version. It was one of the 3 NBC game shows that premiered on the same day, along with Hitman and Just Men. It also had a syndicated run as well, which lasted for a year and a half from January of '85 to September of '86. Now, and let me get to the rules for this one. Now, 3 contestants competed each day, usually a returning champion and 2 challengers, and were each given $20 at the start of the game, except for Fame Game questions, which I am going to go ahead and say that's a pretty good thing. Yeah. Contestants earn $5 for a correct answer or penalized $5 for an incorrect answer. A contestant's score, however, could not be reduced below 0. Contestants could buzz in before the question was finished, but had to answer based only on whatever information the host had read to that point. 3 instant bargains were played per game, with the prizes, retail values, and sale prices increasing as the game progressed. So sometimes it'd be $5, $10, or $15, or maybe just $1 less than those. In some cases, Perry would reduce the price and or offer extra cash to entice a contestant to make a purchase. During an instant bargain, only the player in the lead could do that. In the event of a tie, the first player to buzz in, if any, received the prize. And for a brief time in early '84, any contestant who bought an instant bargain could win back the money they spent by correctly answering a money back question immediately afterward. Yes, if you hear that little jingle bell going, ding, 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 yes, that's when the instant bargain starts. Now, if you hear a ding, ding, kind of like a doorbell in ways, that's the Fame Game signal. 3 rounds were played per game as well. The first half of each round consisted of a Who Am I style of question, starting with obscure clues and proceeding to easier ones as Perry continued. Contestant who buzzed in with a correct answer played the second half of the round. Giving an incorrect answer eliminated a player from the round, but with no score penalty. If none of the contestants answered correctly, the second half of the round was skipped. Now, the contestant who answered correctly was given a choice of 9 spaces on the Fame Game board, each displaying the face of a celebrity. Each of the spaces hid either small bonus prizes or various amounts of cash, some of which offered the contestant a choice between taking either the money or an extra turn. Hidden behind one space was a $25 money card, which added that amount to the contestant's score. Spaces were removed from play as they were revealed. After the third playing, the host asked 3 final questions to the end of the game. The contestant with the highest final score became the champion. If the match ended in a tie, the tied players were asked one more question. Buzzing in and answering correctly won the game, while answering incorrectly resulted in a loss. In both cases, the losing contestants kept all cash and prizes they had accumulated, including their final scores in cash. Now, the bonus round gave the champion a chance to buy a bonus prize with the money earned in all main game wins to that point. 6 individual prizes were offered, which changed every 5 shows and were arranged in ascending order of both retail value and sale price. New champions were always allowed to buy the least expensive for either its sale price or the entire first game winning score, whichever was lower. After a win, the champion could either buy the highest affordable prize and retire, or return to play another match in the hopes of winning enough money to afford a higher level prize. A defeated champion left with only the cash and prizes accumulated in the main game. Now, prizes on the uppermost levels include expensive jewelry, opulent trips with first class accommodations with a luxury automobile as the most common type prize. And despite a certain Bob Barker was kind of against this in some games, fur coats as would feature too. Anyway, so anyway, any champion who reached the top prize level was offered a chance to continue playing in hope to earn enough money to buy all 6. For the first 5 months of the show's run, a champion had to accumulate 150 in total, and the prize package was augmented with enough cash to bring its value up to 95,000. And they kept increasing it later on. The syndicated series featured a similar shopping round when it premiered in January of '85. Like its parent series, 8 prizes levels were available, and a champion could elect to buy a prize anytime and retire. And that would continue on. Now, there were some changes done later on. By July of '83, the Fame game underwent 2 changes. The first involved the use of 3 money cards, not just 25, but there was 10, and 15. Occasionally, a fourth card was worth $5 was placed on the board with the $10 card. Later in March, the famous faces were replaced by numbers, and for a brief time in late '84, there was a $5 plus money card entitling the contestant who found it to immediately pick another number and receive whatever was behind it in addition to the $5 score boost. And even later in October of '85, a randomizer was added to the Fame game, allowing the player to hit their buzzer and freeze it, just like Pressure Luck did. Yes, and the regular game format also underwent a significant change in March of '84 when the series followed the Australian sales lead by replacing the final 3 questions after the last Fame game with a 60-second speed round. To coincide with this change, the sale also increased the value of the shopping prizes. And of course, they continued on with this. In May of '84, there was a sale surprise occasionally and secretly added to certain instant bargains. In March of '86, the third instant bargain was replaced by an instant cash game, where the leading contestant was offered a chance at a cash jackpot at the cost of their entire lead over the second place player. In case of a tie, the host, Perry himself, named a starting price and gradually lowered it until one contestant buzzed in. And then in December of '87, a prize was awarded to the winner of the match. Now, originally there were 6 prizes on offer each week, each hidden behind the number. The winner of the game received one of them. And then in August of '88, the prize was predetermined before the show began, and Perry announced it before the match started. And then they changed the bonus round to the winner's board. And of course, the champion was awarded the shopping prize entitled to based on how much money they had accumulated to that point. Unlike before, where a contestant had to continue winning and build a bank to a certain amount to have a chance at one of the major prizes on stage, such as the car, the winner's board guaranteed that the contestant would receive one of 10 bonus prizes being offered during the broadcast week simply by matching it on the board. Every new champion's reign started with a full board of 20 squares. Like before, there was a variety of prizes the champion could win. A car was always available, as were cash prizes of $3,000 and $10,000. There was also two win cards hidden on the board, which automatically award the next prize uncovered by the champion. And each prize had a matching pair except for the $10,000 cash prize and the car, which could only be matched by using a win card. No special bonus or prize was awarded for finding both cards on consecutive turns. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, if they wanted to keep going, they, well, to win, if they managed to win all 10 prizes from the board, they were offered the opportunity to retire or put the prizes at risk in one final match against two new challengers on the next show, with a loss resulting in everything being gone. Now, winning the final match would also add a $50,000 cash bonus to the champion's previous total. In December of 1987, they introduced the winner's big money game. The show changed bonus rounds again and introduced a new round, now called the winner's big money game. The champion was given a choice of three envelopes, red, yellow, or blue, before the start of the round. Inside each of the envelopes was a series of 6-word puzzles that served as clues to a famous person, place, or thing. To win, the champion had to solve a set amount of them within the time limit. The limit was originally 5 in 25 seconds, and then later reduced to 4 in 20 seconds, which kind of made that as tough as the big wing round in Scrabble, which of course was also produced by Reg Grundy and premiered on NBC the following year after Sail premiered. Anyway, now Now the clock began when the first word of a puzzle was revealed and stopped when the champion hit a plunger, just like in Scrabble, to stop the clock and give an answer. Passing was allowed, as was one incorrect guess. A second incorrect guess ended the round. The game had a series of 8 prize levels, with the last 2 being a car and $50,000. Each of the first 6 were cash prizes that increased in value by 1,000 each time, regardless of whether the round was won the day before or not. New champion played for $5,000 on the first trip, $6,000 on the second, and so on. After the seventh, the champion played for a car. A loss retired him or her from the show, while a win allowed him or her to play one more match with $5,000 at stake if they won. Regardless of the outcome, the champion retired after this attempt. So now you know about Sail of the Century. But wait, there's more. Now the original, not the original, but the 1983 series had a very cool, catchy little number composed by Ray and Mark Ellis called Mercedes. You might want to check that out if you haven't. I think you can find the song on YouTube, but you can find full episodes of Sail of the Century on YouTube. Just check it out. This was released in home editions as well. In other words, there were board games and stuff like that. After the series had ended, the show later got a rerun on the USA Network, and then later GSN, and more recently the Buzzer Network. Now, Sail of the Century also had various international versions as well, not just in the US and Australia, but in the UK, New Zealand, Greece, Germany, Mexico. Oh, the list goes on. Now, in 2007, there was a short lived revival of the series called Temptation, which I have seen of that, but I didn't enjoy it. It only ran for 1 year, and I was afraid it might get in trouble with the pricing game that's played on The Price is Right. So, anyway, Sale of the Century, I think it's a really good game. I really do. I really thought it was really good. Again, you can find full episodes on YouTube. But anyway, I'm pretty sure you you know well who our host looks like Jim Perry if you've seen Card Sharks. But anyway, you can see Summer Bartholomew and the others. They've got some of the earlier episodes as well. So but anyway, yeah. Anyway, Sale of the Century. Great game, and I really think it's good. I think you'll like it. It would be fun if they could try again to redo this, since Fremantle owns the the actual series and Temptation. But we'll see what happens one day in the future. But I sincerely think it's very unlikely. But it would be pretty cool though. So anyway, that's gonna do it. What did you think of Sale of the Century? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. And next time I'll be bringing to you my top horror flicks of 2022. Looking forward to doing that. So anyway, thank you for watching. And if you like this, check out these previous Wide World of Game Shows episodes. In the upper left-hand corner is the episode on Let's Make a Deal. The upper right-hand corner is the episode I did on Press Your Luck, or if you like, go to the bottom left hand corner and see the last episode I did, and that would be on Jeopardy. And the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., as well as the wide world of game shows. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching, and we'll have another episode of this coming up soon, and it'll be Hollywood Squares. So until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.